Story.
In the year 2006, a Saudi man traveled to Egypt. He wasn't running away. He wasn't searching for business opportunities. He came for tourism and relaxation. A normal trip, just like thousands of trips that happen every year. During this trip, he met an Egyptian woman. Her name was Omnia. At first, the conversation was ordinary, small talk, nothing unusual. But slowly, it developed. Omnia began to talk about her life, about her first marriage, about how she was never able to have children, about her difficult circumstances, and about the pain of being deprived of the simplest dream she ever had, to become a mother. The man was emotionally affected by her story. He proposed marriage, and he promised her that if she agreed, she would live with him in Saudi Arabia, a stable life, far away from pain and suffering. Eventually, Omnia agreed. They got married, and she traveled with him to Saudi Arabia, specifically to the city of Al-Qurayat in the north of the kingdom. A quiet city, a small community, a place where everyone knows everyone. Time passed, and God blessed them with a child. They named him Imad. It felt as if life had finally decided to compensate Omnia for everything she had lost. But that compensation was not what it seemed. In 2008, the husband's life began to fall apart. Debts, pressure, financial problems. The home that was supposed to be safe started to crack. One day, the husband was shocked when Omnia made a strange request. She asked him to buy her a collection of books. She told him directly, "These are books about magic and spiritual healing." She said she wanted to learn, to treat people in exchange for money, and that this would become their source of income. The man was confused, but between debt, pressure, and need, he stayed silent. Especially since the city of Al-Qurayat was already known for having some charlatans and people involved in magic and sorcery. And indeed, Omnia entered that world. She learned, she went deeper, and she began asking her husband to tell his family and acquaintances that his wife could treat everything. Marital problems, psychological illnesses, bad luck, envy, magic. At first, she treated her husband's relatives, then their acquaintances. Then, Omnia's name started to spread. People began coming from everywhere. Her house was never empty, people going in, people coming out. But the most dangerous step came after that. Omnia announced that she washes and prepares the bodies of deceased women. She said she did it for the sake of God and without payment. People saw her as a righteous woman, strong, fearless. A woman who could enter a room with a dead body, close the door, and work alone. But she had one condition. A strange condition. No one was allowed to enter the room with her, not even the family of the deceased woman. Except during the final shrouding. People were surprised, but they said maybe she has her own method. Maybe she has a stronger heart. Maybe she knows better. Time passed. Until the year 2011. One day, a young girl named Miriam knocked on Omnia's door. She said, "My mother has passed away, and we need you urgently to wash the body." Omnia took the address and said she would change her clothes and come immediately. When she arrived, she entered the room where the body was. Miriam and her aunt were present. As usual, Omnia asked them to leave. But Miriam refused. She said, "I want to be present while my mother is being washed." Omnia tried to scare her. She said the scene was difficult and unsuitable for a child. But Miriam insisted. At that moment, Omnia's tone changed. She said firmly, "I will not wash her unless everyone leaves. Either you leave, or I go." The aunt convinced Miriam. They left, and the door was closed. But Miriam felt uneasy. Before leaving completely, she noticed a small hole in the door. She stopped, she looked through it, and she saw something she would never forget. She saw Omnia pulling papers from under her clothes and trying to hide them inside her mother's shroud. Miriam was confused. She asked herself, what are those papers? At that moment, someone called her name. She stepped away from the door. Minutes later, Omnia came out and told them to enter for the shrouding. Miriam rushed in. She opened the shroud. She searched. She turned everything. But she found nothing. The next day, Miriam told her husband what she had seen. He told her maybe they were ordinary things related to washing the dead. But Miriam said one sentence only. I don't feel comfortable. The husband decided to ask a sheikh, whose job was washing the dead. He told him about the papers. The sheikh was shocked. He said, that never happens. Then he asked, who is this woman? That was the moment doubt began. The sheikh monitored Omnia's house and noticed unusual movement. People going in, people coming out. He asked about her. They said, she does spiritual healing. At that moment, he understood she was not a healer, but a charlatan. He immediately went to the police. The police acted quickly. They raided the house. When they entered the room where Omnia worked, they didn't find just magic. They found human bones, animal bones, magic books, photos of people, covered with talismans and obscene writings. The strangest thing were wrapped balls. When they opened them, they found spells. During interrogation, under pressure, Omnia collapsed. She confessed. She said she had been practicing magic for 4 years, and that the photos were of her victims. When the investigator asked her about the balls and papers, she said something that shocked everyone. She said, this is the strongest type of black magic. She said, I used to wrap it and place it inside the mouth of the corpse and in sensitive parts of the body. Why? So the magic would be buried and no one could ever reach it. The police ordered the exhumation of the last body she had washed. The shock was real. 4 magic bundles for 4 different people. The court did not delay. The verdict was issued: execution. In 2011, the Saudi Ministry of Interior announced the execution by beheading of Amina bint Abdul Alim bin Salam Nasser in the region of Al-Qurayat. The statement confirmed that the crime was practicing magic and sorcery. She was the second execution that year for the same charge. This story shook the kingdom and occupied public opinion for a long time. And it left one question hanging. How far can a human go when conscience disappears and evil hides behind the name of religion? This is an image of Amina, the sorceress. Follow us for more true stories. Like and share.